This world can be strange, but not as strange as the strange world you'll find in Strange World. Now that you're confused, allow me to straighten things out with a 20,000 League deep dive into Disney's latest animated film. Okay, I probably can't manage a whole 20,000, but 107? I can handle that, no problem. And so can you. Adventure awaits, and so does the story of the Clades. Here are 107 facts about Strange World. Number 1. As the latest outing from the Walt Disney Animation Studios, Strange World is co-directed by Don Hall. Number 2. This is hardly Hall's first time directing for Disney. Don Hall also co-directed Big Hero 6, Moana, and Raya and the Last Dragon. Number 3. While it only released just this past holiday season, Strange World has been in the works for a while. Don Hall first came up with the concept of Strange World in 2017 after working on Moana. Number 4. Moana had a number of environmental themes, so Hall was thinking about how different the world and environment had become since he was a kid. He also contemplated how things would change even further and the kind of environment that his kids would inherit. Number 5. So the idea of this environmental legacy inspired him to write a 3-generational storyline. While he always enjoyed a father-son story, he set out to do something a little different by throwing a grandson-grandfather dynamic into the mix. Number 6. Don Hall also pulls from his own life for the farming angle of Strange World. Hall grew up in Iowa and his father was a farmer. Number 7. Don Hall didn't direct Strange World on his own though. Qui Nguyen is the co-director and also wrote the screenplay. Number 8. While he shares the helm with Don Hall, this is actually the first directing position that Qui Nguyen has held. Number 9. However, just like Hall, this isn't Nguyen's first Disney outing. He also co-wrote the screenplay for Raya and the Last Dragon. Number 10. When they first met, Nguyen and Hall bonded over comic books and adventure movies like Indiana Jones, Superman, and Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Number 11. Roy Conley is the producer on Strange World. Number 12. He has a storied history with Disney as well. Conley also produced Big Hero 6, Tangled, and even Treasure Planet way back in 2002. Number 13. The vast majority of Strange World is animated using 3D graphics, but there are a few notable hand-drawn 2D sections as well. For instance, the beginning serialized adventures of the Clades are all hand-drawn. Number 14. At one point, Strange World wasn't even called Strange World. The movie was set to be called Searcher Clade after one of the main characters. Number 15. And as one of the main characters, Searcher Clade is played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Number 16. As a condition of him signing on to Strange World, Jake Gyllenhaal was very hands-on in Searcher's development. When he and Roy Conley would read through the script, Gyllenhaal would regularly give notes about Searcher, including suggestions as little dialogue changes and more general feedback like Searcher wouldn't do this. Sure enough, Gwen would make all the changes, sometimes the same night, and have an updated script for Gyllenhaal the next day. Number 17. This is only Gyllenhaal's second time playing an animated character. His first role was as recent as 2021 when he played Jim Prescott in Spirit Untamed. Number 18. Dennis Quaid plays Jaeger Clade, the legendary explorer, Searcher's father, and Ethan's grandfather. Number 19. Before Strange World's 2022 release, Quaid hadn't performed in an animated role for 15 years. His last animated character was Rovin in 2007's Battle for Terra. Number 20. Gyllenhaal and Quaid have played father and son before, though they weren't cartoons at the time. They acted together in 2004's The Day After Tomorrow. Number 21. Gabrielle Union plays Searcher's wife, Meridian Clade, an extraordinary pilot, whether it be a crop duster or the Venture itself. Number 22. For playing Meridian, Gabrielle Union was nominated for Outstanding Voice Performance at the 2023 Black Reel Awards. Number 23. Lucy Liu plays Callisto Mal, Jaeger Clade's old colleague and president of Avalonia. Number 24. Lucy Liu almost said no to playing Mal and signing on to Strange World altogether. By her second meeting with Roy Conley, she decided the role wasn't for her. So Conley and the team adjusted Mal's character, making her president of Avalonia and generally more adventurous. Sure enough, he and Liu met for a third time and she was on board after seeing the changes. Number 25. Jabuki Young White plays Ethan Clade, Searcher's son and Jaeger's grandson. Number 26. This isn't Young White's first project with Don Hall. He voiced Mbita in Baymax, the Big Hero 6 spin-off series. Number 27. Ethan Clade is Disney's firstly openly LGBTQ main character in an animated movie. Number 28. Young White, who is gay himself, said that it was a great thing to be a part of, and that Ethan is a character he would have liked to see when he was growing up. Number 29. Specifically, he likes that Strange World is not a coming out story. By the time we meet Ethan at the beginning of the movie, Ethan is out. He's comfortable with it, and so are the people and world around him. Number 30. Don Hall said that Jabuki Young White improvised so much material that the team had a difficult time deciding which takes to go with. There were a ton of great lines that didn't make it into the final movie. Number 31. Young White's enthusiasm for improvisation perfectly gelled with Hall and Gwen's process. Hall described how the team would storyboard multiple versions of a scene and then leave it up to the voice actors in the booth to improvise. Number 32. Gabrielle Union was surprised by this improv-heavy workflow, and even more surprised that they actually used her takes. She thought it was a refreshing change of pace from her previous voice gigs where they'd respect her time by telling her to ad-lib and actually meaning it. Number 33. He's one of those blink and you'll miss it characters, but Duffel, the original pilot of the venture, is played by Alan Tudyk. Number 34. Duffel's quick exit is a reference to Tudyk's character from Firefly, Hoban Wash Washburn. In Firefly's sequel film, Serenity, Wash gets taken out just like Duffel did. Number 35. While Duffel disappears pretty quickly, Tudyk's other character is invisible from the jump. He voices the narrator at the beginning of Strange World. Number 36. Duffel's crew member and Mal's bumbling assistant Caspian is voiced by Karan Soni. You'll recognize him as Dopinder, the taxi driver from the Deadpool movies. Number 37. Disney first announced Strange World in December 2021. Number 38. Along with the announcement, Disney also dropped a bunch of amazing concept art of the film on their Instagram. Number 39. Just looking at the art, you can see that it's heavily inspired by the covers of old pulp magazines from the early 20th century. Number 40. Aside from the visual style, the actual adventurous story of Strange World is a nod to the stories told in pulp magazines. Number 41. Don Hall himself loved reading those old pulp stories while he was a kid. Number 42. Aside from the old pulp magazines, Strange World also takes inspiration from old sci-fi adventure stories like Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth and films like King Kong. Number 43. Even the title itself, Strange World, has an old school vibe to it. It shares the name with two sci-fi comics from the 1950s, one by Avon Comics and the other by Atlas Comics. Number 44. Funny enough, Atlas Comics would eventually become Marvel Comics, which Disney owns the rights to. Number 45. You don't even have to watch Strange World to see the classic adventure influence. Does the title font look familiar? It's heavily inspired by the font of Indiana Jones. Number 46. Unlike Indiana Jones though, you won't see the Clades running up against any Nazis. Strange World doesn't even have a main villain, at least not in the traditional sense. Number 47. Instead, Don Hall and Kui Gwen wanted the villain to be the generational conflict between Yeager, Searcher, and Ethan. To them, the family tension is more of an antagonistic force than an out-and-out villain. Number 48. Ethan even says so himself. When he, Searcher, and Yeager are playing Primal Outpost, Ethan's favorite card game, Ethan gets frustrated and shouts that they are the bad guys. Number 49. Hall and Gwen also consider the Strange World itself an antagonist. It's a kind of man versus nature survival story in a way. That said, they also didn't want to front-load the movie with the environmental messages, so they created a conflict between Searcher and Yeager first to make the characters more of the focal point. Number 50. That's not to say that they didn't lean into the environmentalism though. In preparation, the Strange World team did a ton of research, pulling from biology, paleontology, climatology, and of course, farming. They even paid a visit to National Geographic, which Disney also owns, by the way. Number 51. Watching Strange World, you can see the environmental themes distilled into one specific point, Primal Outpost. As Ethan says, you don't win the game by slaying monsters or defending against them. Instead, Primal Outpost is about building a civilization to work in harmony with your environment. Do you get the message? Number 52. While it serves as a vehicle for Strange World's themes, Primal Outpost is also a playable card game. Gwen insists that there are more cards and rules to Primal Outpost than we get to see. Number 53. To flesh Primal Outpost out, Gwen was inspired by classic games like Catan and Magic the Gathering. Number 54. From his inception, Ethan was always designed to be a gamer. Hall and Gwen wanted to make Ethan a gamer based on their own kids. According to Hall, every kid, every teenager right now is a gamer. Number 55. Trouble is, Strange World's world doesn't have conventional modern tech like video games, so as a workaround, Hall and Gwen went with a card game to convey Ethan's gamer tastes. Number 56. Sure, Ethan is endearing, but not quite as endearing as the friend he makes in the Strange World, Splat. Hall was directly inspired by the magic carpet from Aladdin to give Splat such a large personality through only nonverbal cues. Number 57. Plucky sidekicks are practically a long-standing tradition for Walt Disney Animation Studios. You know what else is? Dead moms. Thankfully, Strange World breaks from tradition and Meridian Clade is alive and well to pilot the venture. Number 58. The Strange World team even pokes fun at this morbid mold Disney is set with Searcher's mom. When Searcher tells Yeager that mom is gone, Yeager just assumes she's dead. Sure enough, he means that she's moved on over the past 25 years since Yeager left. Number 59. As cute as he is, Legend, the Clade family's three-legged dog, wasn't originally part of Strange World. Number 60. Legend was added at the suggestion of Bernie Mattinson, one of Walt Disney Animation Studios' longtime storyboard artists. Number 61. Bernie Mattinson is actually the longest-running employee in Disney's history. He started working for the studio back in 1953 when he was only 18 years old. Number 62. Not only is he responsible for Legend being in Strange World, he's also responsible for the dog's name. Mattinson is known as Legend at the studio, so the team decided to name the dog after him. Number 63. Even Legend's breed is a reference to Mattinson. To look at him, Legend is a Bernedoodle, a cross between a Bernese mountain dog and a poodle. In the world of Strange World, though, he's known as a Bernie Doodle, spelled B-U-R-N-Y, in Mr. Mattinson's honor. Number 64. Strange World has a few other references rolled into the names too. Take for example the city of Avalonia. Avalonia comes from Avalon, a mystical location from Arthurian legend. And the word Avalon itself is based on the old Welsh word, the Isle of Fruit, or apple, trees. Number 65. Even Pando is a reference. In Latin, Pando directly translates to I spread. Avalonia's energy source shares its name with the Pando Forest of the Aspen Mountains in Utah. It's a network of trees and roots that are all connected from one original seed. Kinda fits the theme of the whole connectedness of the environment and humanity's place in it, right? Number 66. While it's a fun twist in Strange World, the idea of the whole world being on the back of a giant turtle is nothing new. The world turtle appears in a number of different ancient mythologies, including Native American, Chinese, and Hindu stories. Number 67. Don Hall's professional history with Disney doesn't go back to ancient times, just 2011. He was brought on to co-direct that year's Winnie the Pooh film, and he's come a long way since then. Number 68. Hall was especially happy with how receptive his peers and colleagues at Disney were with some of the weirder ideas for Strange World. Number 69. Sure, the Strange World has no shortage of bizarre creatures. However, there was one particular beast that was so out there that it didn't even make it into the final film. Gwen referred to them only as poop pickles. As you might have guessed, these poop pickles were specifically designed to look as weird as possible. They even made weird noises too. Number 70. The team went so in on poop pickles that Don Hall and Henry Jackman even worked on a waltz that would play during the original planned poop pickles sequence. Number 71. Oh, and by the way, Henry Jackman composed the score for Strange World. Number 72. Like many other members of the team, Jackman has worked with Hall before on Winnie the Pooh 2011 and Big Hero 6. Number 73. Aside from those two movies, Henry Jackman also did the score for both Wreck-It Ralph films. Number 74. While Jackman did the whole score himself, he did get some assistance for one particular track. The theme song for the Clades that plays at the beginning of the movie. Jackman wrote the tune itself, but Kevin Del Aguila wrote the lyrics, and James Hayden performed the song. Number 75. Disney released the soundtrack to Strange World on the same day as the movie, November 23rd, 2022. Number 76. Sure, Strange World sounds great, and looking at it is like looking under a microscope. The Strange World itself is modeled after biology, specifically the immune system. Ethan even says so himself, like how the burning sea is the stomach of the giant turtle. Number 77. It's not just the locations either. A number of the wild creatures that the Clades encounter are based on specific parts of the immune system. Remember those red pterodactyl-looking things? Those were inspired by T cells, the body's first line of defense against infections. Number 78. If those T-cell pterodactyls don't work, then the Reapers, as Jaeger called them, get sent to take care of a more serious threat. They're shaped like white blood cells, specifically the macrophage. They even shoot their tentacles out in the same way. Number 79. Not everything in the strange world is harmful though. Just look at those schools of red fish-looking things that fly through the air. They're based off of red blood cells, and the Clades ride them around the big turtle's circulatory system. They even flood back into the turtle's heart once all the pando gets cleared off of it. Number 80. Circulatory systems are vast, so Disney made sure there was plenty of room for these fish to swim around in. The animation team generated about 5 kilometers of environment for the chase scene between the Reapers and the Clades. Number 81. Sure, Splat'll throw hands if necessary, but he's hardly designed for violence. He's modeled after dendritic cells in both function and form. Just like dendritic cells, Splat identifies foreign agents like Ethan for the Reapers to take care of. Number 82. While microbiology is certainly the rule for Strange Worlds creatures, there are always exceptions. For example, remember the giant Transportosaurus? That lumbering monster that sprinkles those orange blobs everywhere? Well, they were simply inspired by a sausage. Number 83. Don Hall's favorite character is what he calls the filterlopes. Those are the deer-looking things with tails that fan out like a peacock. The filterlopes were only supposed to appear in one sequence, but the team liked them so much that they started sprinkling them throughout the strange world. As for Qui Gwen, his favorite creatures were the little orange nubbins that unblaze the destructive trails of both Jaeger and the mass of Pando at the end of the movie. Number 85. So far, we've gotten a good look at the creatures of Strange World, but what about the world that they live in, strange or otherwise? Well, you can thank production designer Justin Cram, among others, for the amazing backgrounds and settings. Number 86. In Avalonia, you'll see lots of warm colors like reds and oranges, with some white in there too. Cram wanted to convey a sense of nostalgia and utopia, and a feeling that this culture is one that everyone enjoys being a part of. Number 87. Avalonia was just one of 3 carefully designed color palettes for the film. While Avalonia is warm, Searcher Clade's Pando Farm uses lots of blues, greens, and cooler tones, and the strange world itself is bright with vibrant pinks and oranges. Number 88. Cram wasn't the only production designer though. Mehrdad Isvandi was also production designer on Strange World. Isvandi also worked on Moana, Raya and the Last Dragon, and was even the art director for Encanto. Number 89. Isvandi said that the team made it a point to use the cooler colors of Clade's farm as sparingly as they could in the strange world. Sure, Splat is blue, but Pando is the only green you'll find. Number 90. Strange World is the 61st film from Walt Disney Animated Studios. Number 91. There's even a small Easter egg alluding to it. If you look closely, you'll see a sticker on a container of Pando that reads WDAS61 Ven. That likely stands for Walt Disney Animated Studios and its 61st movie. As for Ven, it's likely just named for the ship, the Venture. Number 92. The team snuck a few other Easter eggs in the end as well. There's even a reference to Atlantis the Lost Empire. At the end of the movie, when Strange World turns into a comic book, you can see a brown book in the top right corner of the screen with a large A on it. The title of the book is actually Atlantis the Lost Empire, written in that movie's Atlantean language. Number 93. You'll see some Easter eggs in the end credits as well. There's a drawing of the Backsun from Don Hall's 2011 Winnie the Pooh movie. It's the same drawing that Owl used when describing a Backsun to his friends in the 100 Acre Wood. Number 94. There's even a nod to Disney's next animated movie, Wish. Wish features a character named Asha teaming up with a star named Star. You can see Star in the end credits of Strange World. Number 95. And what's a Disney movie without some hidden Mickeys? You'll find one made by 3 Pando balls at the beginning of the film. There's another one made by a blue plant when Ethan enters a cave. Number 96. Strange World is the first movie to use the new Disney 100 logo as a way of celebrating 100 years of the Walt Disney Company. Number 97. After about 4 years of production, Strange World had its theatrical US release on November 23, 2022, the day before Thanksgiving. Number 98. This follows the modern Disney tradition of releasing animated films around Thanksgiving time, just like Frozen, Moana, and even the original Toy Story back in 1995. Number 99. Strange World's budget is estimated to be somewhere between $135 and $185 million. Number 100. Sure, it's a $50 million discrepancy, but there's no doubt that Strange World bombed in theaters. It only made about $18.6 million domestic in the first 5 days. Number 101. That's even more disappointing considering that it fell short of the already modest projections of 30 to 40 million. Number 102. By the end of 2022, Strange World only managed to pull in about $67 million in global box office sales. Number 103. That makes Strange World one of the worst performing movies from Walt Disney Animation Studios over the past few years. Number 104. Based on those numbers, it's likely going to end up losing Disney a rough estimate of about 100 million. Number 105. Sure, those theater numbers were trash, but Strange World actually popped off once it was available to stream on Disney Plus 1 month later on December 23rd. Number 106. When Strange World dropped on Disney Plus, it quickly shot up to be the most streamed film on the platform at the time. Number 107. For the Christmas weekend, Strange World actually clocked in at the number 8 most streamed movie across all streaming platforms. So did it end up being a happy ending for Strange World? Not really. Don't hold your breath for Strange World 2. Instead, take a deep breath and subscribe to ChannelFrederator for more 107 Facts videos. Thanks for watching.